Well, welcome to the studio, and today we'll be doing let's see, what size is this? A 6x8 on the watercolor pad, Master's Touch. I don't have very many pages left of that. It's a cold pressed paper. We'll be doing a calm winter train scene, the children boarding I felt like maybe doing something Polar Express like feeling. This is this is actually my picture, though obviously the people they were not in that picture originally, so I added them digitally. But this train and this is actually a historic society, and they have this train out. It's across the street from a restaurant that I've eaten at less than a handful of times, but every time I'm there, I like to take photos. Hopefully you can see it pretty good. Let me just readjust that. I like to take photos of the train. There's always people taking photos of the train. I'd like to go into the Historic Society and take a look and see what they have. I love to do that. But every time I've been, it's been on the weekend and they haven't been open. So I drew it in roughly in my favorite pink watercolor pencil. Typically, I'll go over it and tighten that up with a different color watercolor pencil, but you guys can't see the watercolor pencils on the camera, so I went in with the graphite. I did test it out to see how that watercolor pencil spreads on the page. I guess we're gonna do a sky that's in the winter where I am in New England. A lot of times in the sunrise or the sunset, in the opposite sky, there tends to be like a light pink, and then the sky is like a purpley color, and then around the horizon is nice and light and pink. So since I sketched in pink and did that, so I think that's what I'm going to go for. That feels right. So colors are just here on my palette. We're working in watercolor, in case I didn't say that. Let's see. This is a burnt sienna. I've been really if you've been watching this series of the 12 Days of Christmas, I've been really liking this because it has a purpley tone to it. This is a burnt umber, the burnt sienna, ripe sienna, which I think is probably a raw sienna, but this Master's Touch brand calls it ripe sienna, cerulean blue, sap green. I have added to our palette a neutral gray. Yep, neutral gray. I was playing around with painting a face, so I'm not sure that I'll use that. Well, maybe I might on these guys' faces. That's just flesh tone is what they call it. And I've got a mix of a bunch of stuff that we've been mixing on the palette, so I probably will use those colors too. I do have, if I've not mentioned it in past videos, I do have my water. Of course, that's got some gesso in it because I was playing around earlier. I do have two containers of water, one that I clean my brush in, and then one that I try to keep clean. We'll see how clean that stays. Generally, I forget that one needs to stay clean. And yeah, let's see what happens. So I'm going to wet the page with our clean water. That's why I like to keep some clean water. Not a lot. We're just doing it lightly. And we'll get some color already on there because of the watercolor pencils. If you do that, I like to do that. If you don't, that's okay. Just get your reference down however you're comfortable. That's fine. You don't have to use this reference. Feel free to paint whatever you're painting along with us. That's fine. I just want everybody to be here and have fun. All right, let's go into that what was I saying this was? Burnt sienna. And wash that along the... If I didn't mention, I'm using my favorite Princeton Summit Round 8. I did pull out some other... These are actually watercolor brushes. They're just from a cheap set from... People get me painting sets for special occasions, birthdays and Christmas, which is fine. Royal, you know those sets. This is a size that it's come off. I think that it's a 12. It looks like a 12. I did pull out another 8 just because I like this size, especially on this size paper. And in case I, have a dirty brush, I can. That's okay that that's a little darker on this side. We need to have probably one side darker. I'm thinking that the light's going to come from this side, so the sky will be darker on this side. I just used a brush on the side. We're not making any, well, let's see. Let's see what we can get for clouds. Let's do that. Let's go into our clean water. Wipe it off on your towel really well. And then let's see what we can lift out of here. Of course, it's really light to begin with, so we might not get a little bit. A little bit. You can also dab water like that on the page. That's a good effect too. Especially since it's kind of going to be a snowy scene that will make effects similar to when you're using salt. But these are a little bit bigger. They tend to be a little bit bigger. The paint spreads a little bit more and softer. When you're using the salt, that kind of is a lot harsher. But just depends on what you want to do. Those are good for like starry skies. That's a good effect for that. I think I want to do some trees in here. A little bit darker. I didn't draw them in because I wanted them to be faint. All right, let's see. I want them to be faint because they're further away than this stand of trees, so that's going to create distance. See, I'm already dipping into my clean water. That didn't take long. All right, let's get these darker. It probably will bleed into our sky, which I think is probably fine. We'll see. If I don't like that effect, or you see that you don't like that, then certainly work down here. I'm only doing that because when you look at trees in the distance, a lot of the smaller branches and limbs kind of do that. So that feels natural to me, but like I said, if you don't like that look, that's okay. You don't have to draw in every single branch that you maybe did, because I'm not erasing the graphite here because I want to be able to still see some of those limbs. Also, doing some broken lines is nice. That gives it a nice painterly effect. Because your eye doesn't always see, especially in the distance, every single detail. So it's going to look broken to our eye. All right, let's let that dry and see how I like that. Down here, we'll come in with some of that ripe. I didn't clean my brush. The ripe sienna. This one might be a long one today, guys.
So this has now dried, and I'm thinking I'm going to do a little bit of ink work on this. So I've got a bottle of Sennelier watercolor ink. This is burnt walnut colours.
Oops. I like to vary my colors. That's red because of the watercolor pencil. This pink. I think it's probably going to pick up some of it there. That's okay. I'm okay with that. This is going to be snow. So let's, what are we going to do for some snow? Cerulean blue. I think I got some burnt sienna still on that brush. Let's. All right, and then I'm gonna go into my, rinse my brush, go into the clean water, wipe off a lot of the water, and come in here and soften one side. So the trick to shadows in the snow is to have one side that's crisp and defined, and then one side that's faded. Let's see. I know that this isn't, gesso isn't like traditional watercolor, but I like to use it. I come from acrylic, so break up some of those bigger areas. Kind of dab it along the edge there because snow is not even and crisp. You know, you're not going to have a good line. Let's let that dry. Some dried paint. I didn't want to smudge it and then make a line. This is looking pretty cool. Let's work on the building. This is like gray, so maybe this I'll do like a green. But let's work on the upper part first. I don't want to drip that. I'm thinking these are going to be lighter as they go back and under the eave. Don't be tempted to go in there right now. So let's do a green color on the building. It's kind of a muted green. So I did mix some burnt umber. I'm going to pick up some of those water puddles. Clean your brush off and just wipe it on your towel and suck up that water. These are kind of a yellowy color. I just picked up some yellowish color on my palette. I don't know what it is. Stuff I was mixing before. can kind of see some clouds coming in. I don't know what this is. There was a pole with, I think, lights at the top. I'm not getting in close. I just had some dark on my brush, so. I guess if we're doing dark, we can start on the train. I'm gonna have to pull up my reference photo. I didn't do that. Hold one moment, I'll come right back. So I ended up taking a lunch break and came back. I encourage you guys to do that when you're painting. That way things don't get overworked and you don't get frustrated and then tend to overwork. But I do like some things that are going on in the sky. I didn't think that we would see any clouds, and we do. We can certainly come back in if you wanted to later on and darken up some of these areas that are around the clouds if you want to. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might do that. I don't know. But there's also some things that I don't like. Oh, I do like the trees here. That's creating a good effect that I was hoping. I was hoping that these would bleed like these did, but that's okay. They didn't, so we'll figure out something there. I mean, I don't mind that they're a little bit more defined because they're closer to us, but we'll also see. I'm not liking this area, so I'm not sure. Maybe is it too blue? And I'm also going to need to add a little bit of warmth to the snow because, as we said, our light source is coming this way. So let's see what we can come up with. Maybe a little bit more gesso. If you had gouache, certainly use gouache. I don't have gouache. I've never used it. Maybe calm down some of those blue areas. I don't know if that looks better. Let's add a little bit of warmth to the snow. I just found some yellow mixture on my palette. That might work. We'll see how that dries. Okay. You can always come back to it, and it's not like a focal point of the painting, so I'm not sure that it really mattered, but it was certainly, I don't have a lot else going on, so it was certainly something that was drawing my attention. Okay. Let's maybe get some color in on these children and our conductor, maybe. She's gonna be in red. I should maybe get some more bright red out. I'm gonna keep the pile of, you know, color and water towards the end back here because that's where a lot of the shadow is going to be. It'll probably dry lighter, but that's okay. Let me get some red paint out. I don't think I have red in my, this is just a container. I stuck the colors that we were using in here. I don't think that I stuck the red. Oh, I did. A permanent red, right? Primary red. I better put my glasses on if I'm gonna read. I'm wearing a, I don't know if you guys, if this happens to you guys, but I'm wearing a new shirt today, and my clothes are in two categories. Those that don't have paint, and those that soon will have paint. And it's a brand new shirt, and I already have paint on it. So I put on a old sweatshirt so that if I get paint on that, I don't care. I have to remember to do that. I'm gonna put like either blue or black leggings. He's gonna have a blue baseball cap and blue overalls, and I'm not sure what his shirt will be. I hope to make him Christmassy, so maybe we'll have him have a green shirt. That would be kind of cute. Let's get some blue in his hat. I love that you can still see the pink marks. That doesn't bother me. I come from acrylic painting, and I've been doing a lot of abstract art, so I like the messiness. I guess you'd say messy. Keeps it interesting. Although I was looking, interestingly enough, I was looking at Norman Rockwell's how he worked, and some of his paintings, and you could see where he had previous marks. He did oils, but he also did watercolors as his first studies before he painted the oil paintings, and you can see the original marks, like, and then he went in and corrected them. That was interesting. So actually, I kind of like that. I like those mistakes. They become part of the painting. That's fun. I think that's really fun. All right, I have blue on my brush, so let's come in and put some blue on the conductor. I'll probably adjust his coat color because I don't want it this bright blue, but let's get this down and then we'll adjust it. I want to keep this side super saturated and as dark blue as I can because this is the shadow. That's nice. That's really nice. All right, let's do this leg. It's going to be darker. Lighter down towards the bottom because the sun will be shining on that. I might have to wet my paints. I didn't wet them when I came back from having our lunch. Okay, oh, I got some dark color on my brush, so let's at least get a light layer on his shoes. All right, that's a good snow color. Up in here, it's going to be shadowy and dark. Perfect. I like that better. I like that better. So, we're learning something here. That technique was better than this. Interesting. Let's see if we can replicate that. That's nice too. Obviously, I got pink snow here, so we'll have to adjust that, but that will have to be gesso, but that's okay. That works. That definitely works. All right. I like the warm color underneath that snow too. All right, I like that and that, but not that. Let's see if we can get some dark color up here. I need to put out some more. What was that dark color that I had? It was ivory black. The fresh paint goes on so different than when it's dried and then I re-wet it. I haven't used other paint brands. Do they all do that? Is it all lighter when you re-wet them to use them? I just have black on my brush, so I'm just putting it over here. This is going to be black too. The train is black. This will be black too. These are windows up here. but I think that it's mostly hidden by some snow. This is why I like to paint on the, not taking the paper off of the pad, because I can move it around. All right, and then this is in between the wheel. I'm trying to think where else I can use this color so that I'm not just rinsing it off. I don't know. I better turn the reference photo on. What is this? Oh, geez, I don't know. There are some like windows here. This is going to be like a rusty orange color. I'm not really looking to make this exact. Honestly. I would like to do, because I really am liking this photo, I really would like to maybe do a really good detailed. This has snow. And it's in the shadow. Let's see how that goes. This sign, I may come in with like, and actually write something on it, like Polar Express or something, maybe like that. I'm not sure. But I would do that with a pen. And I would want to find a gold pen. I have one. I don't know that it's fine enough though. This, I was thinking I probably should have done this darker. Needs to be green. I'm just going to pick up a green color that's on my palette. That looks close enough. Might be a little bit brighter, but it's also out from underneath the eave too, or at least closer to the even with the eave. So it would be a different color. I really like that snow. So take note, do the snow this way. I mean, I like this too. But definitely this, definitely. Okay, let's get a dark color to do their boots. They're just, you can just see the top of their shoes. I just did a dark brown. I have dark brown on my brush, so let's I think I want these to be a little red. A little red tint to the brown. So I mixed, I didn't clean my brush, so there's still brown on my brush. Mixed in some red. That looks pretty good. Just barely touching what little bit of red I have left. I can see some, maybe it's reflecting off of that. This needs to be dark. Green, I have a muddy green color. See, this is where mud comes in. Something like that. Okay. That's going to be a Christmas wreath. I had some gold. We used this. I'm not going to write in this, but I'm going to outline the sign. I don't have gold paint. It's just a gold Sharpie. You can kind of see it. right, I'm going to come in with the dreaded gesso. Just because I want some of that texture. That snow texture, that's okay. That I don't mind. We may fix this if it really bugs me a lot. Maybe with some acrylic or something. I'm not sure. I know this is watercolor, but I'm not a traditionalist either, so that doesn't bother me. Let's see. Work on the train a little bit, maybe. This is snowy white. And then a redder orange as it gets into the shadows. I'm not sure. I didn't yeah, helps if I would have done this. Oh well, it's okay. We'll figure it out. It doesn't have to be exact. So keeping it light here because I see a little gold like this. Yeah, see, they have, I don't know if it's rust or the light reflecting off of the I'm wondering if I should outline that in that gold pen. All right, this is like a brighter orange. I did add some of that peach tone to my raw sienna. It's brighter. redder. Let's do some red here. Yeah, that's good. There you go. This is black. And then this. It's kind of like dark right in here, so it's hard to see what's going on. I added some blue to the black for the window shadows. This is a window, and it's definitely bluey. I can figure out a color there. This is a ladder. All right. This is like a red. It's definitely a reddy orange. I'm going to keep that down there in case it dries darker. These are red inside the tie, wheels. And then the snow gate is definitely bright red. We're getting there. All right, there's some snow up there. Whoop. I think I'm gonna do this gold marker. Just because I want it shinier. And I don't have that in my paints. So, I wonder what we could do on the bottom half of that. That's bugging me. Let's, I just picked up a yellowy, how's that? I think it'll look good here too. And then this is like a gold bell, I think. Something like that. All right, so I think that we're going to leave this here and we'll do a part 2 to this. I'm so happy that we were here together today and painting together, and may your colors flow in peace. Until I see you next time in the studio.